After Lee's troops are surrounded at Petersburg and after Sherman's march to the sea, the end of the war seems fairly inevitable. Lee is going to try to retreat out of Petersburg. He's going to be chased by Grant. Grant's going to surround him at Appomattox. Grant is going to then offer Robert E. Lee some generous terms. The soldiers wouldn't be held as treasonous. They were allowed to keep their pistols, and they could just go home. And to their credit, they did. And one of the interesting parts about history here is he's being inspired by Lincoln, who wanted a generous peace, which we'll talk about later. But we're also sowing the seeds of what eventually is going to become some guerrilla warfare here. Now, we can also see that the Civil War was a modern war in the sense that industry is going to boom as a result of this. Whole new industries are going to develop around clothing and food and boots and transportation because of federal contracts. So much money was pumped into northern industries that the industrial sector is going to grow and expand and boom, where we're going to lead us into the Gilded Age coming out of this war. Also, the federal government is going to become one of the biggest employers in the country as a result of this war. And there's also just an incredible amount of terrifying technology that's going to be used in warfare following here, from rifled guns to the fact that you're going to have repeating rifles. The first machine guns start to be tested out at this point. Ironclad ships, new ways of killing each other is going to lead this war to be devastating. 750,000 Americans are going to die. Soldiers are going to die. Another 50,000 civilians are going to die. Another 50,000 or so are going to have wounds like amputations. It's just a death and dying is something that just permeates this entire time. 7.5% of the American population is going to die as a result of the Civil War. And that's just a tremendous amount of death and dying. And Americans had to figure out how to handle that. Also coming out of this is going to be the 13th Amendment. And I don't mean to put this at the end, except for the fact that this is probably the most important thing that comes out. As a result of the Civil War, slavery is over. It's now in the Constitution that you cannot be enslaved. And what's really going to be interesting is that in the post-Civil War South, we're going to see that this is the thing that becomes really the turning point and the thing that they're going to fight about most as they try to, as the Southerners are going to try to reintegrate into the Union.